Tonight at 5, a case of measles confirmed in Madison. Who's at risk and how many doses of the vaccine they should have.
And Jimmy the Groundhog had a couple things to say in Sun Prairie this morning. You get to see the temperature forecast behind me. Maybe it's lining up with Jimmy's forecast, but I have a few more things to say about snow chances coming up in a little bit.
Plus, higher stakes, why Democrats in the legislature say it's particularly important the state legalizes cannabis this year. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
And good evening. Thanks for staying with us.
We begin with developing news tonight on the UW-Madison campus.
And that's where school officials sent an email to students earlier confirming a case of measles on campus. The message says the infected student lives off campus. Local health officials say the student's illness is related to international travel. But the email from UW officials warns it is possible that others on campus were exposed.
This is the second confirmed case of measles in Wisconsin so far this year.
And it marks the 38th case since the start of last year. It's part of a growing trend really all across the country. And Sarah Carlson joins us now with how to keep yourself and also your family members safe. Sarah?
Hi, Eric and Susan. Well, we don't know whether or not the UW student who got sick is vaccinated against the measles or not. We do know all 36 of last year's cases in Wisconsin were in unvaccinated people. With that in mind, here's what you should know. The Department of Health Services says, generally speaking, people born before 1957 are considered immune and do not need a vaccine. All other adults without evidence of immunity should have at least one dose. Now, at-risk groups include people in healthcare, college students, and people who plan to travel internationally. So if you were born in 1957 or later and are in one of those groups, you should get a booster.
If you are fully vaccinated, if you had your 2 doses of MMR, you are fully vaccinated. There's no evidence at this point or no recommendations at this time that later on down the line that you need to be revaccinated.
Doctors also say kids should have at least 2 doses of this vaccine. You can actually check your own and your family members' immunization records to make sure that everyone has received the recommended doses online at the Wisconsin Immunization Registry. Public Health Madison-Dane County offers free vaccines as well to people without insurance. You can make an appointment with publichealthmdc.com. Susan and Eric.
Sarah, thank you, and we'll keep you updated on any new information we receive about measles in Dane County right here on News 3 Now. You can receive the news directly to your phone with our free mobile app.
Right now, we're learning more about the allegations of inappropriate use of artificial intelligence at Jefferson High School.
Last week, Jefferson police confirmed that the department confirmed it is investigating the incident. Our Tanisha Shaw spoke with a parent whose daughter was involved and saw the pictures.
It caught me off guard. I was kind of in disbelief. Upsetting.
As a mother, Brittany Sorensen deals with a lot, but she could not imagine dealing with fake, inappropriate pictures of her daughter floating around Jefferson High School.
That protective part of me came out, and it's why I wanted answers right away.
Sorensen's daughter had to miss school after seeing a public folder that made inappropriate photos of her daughter and other students. The photos were made with artificial intelligence and without consent.
A lot of them are girls standing across the room or even underneath their desk or from behind. So it's not, you can tell he didn't ask to take these pictures.
Some of those photos taken here at Jefferson High School. Sorensen told me that there were so many photos in that file that she could not stomach going through the entire thing.
My daughter said, there's probably over 100 girls that are on these images, and there are some, she said, from a different district. So it doesn't just stay to Jefferson.
Reporting in Jefferson, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you.
And we'll hear more from school officials about this incident tonight on News 3 Now at 6.
And now for a look at your first warn forecast. Happy February, everybody.
Yay.
We ripped a page
Alex,
off the
I
calendar.
cannot believe you referenced the groundhog earlier. That was always Gary's nemesis, I would always say.
Can't help. He has his prediction. I have my predictions too. We'll see who turns out right. He didn't go to school, though, for meteorology, but he has a sense or two. Not going to take that away from him. Take a look at our live Edgewater Skycam. As part of the First Warn WeatherCam network, you see some activity out here on Lake Mendota. Folks enjoying a beautiful day. Right now, it's 24 right now. Isn't that nice to say that it's 24 degrees, not 24 below zero wind chill? We got 24 in Madison, 25 in Middleton, 24s and 25s, and 26 the winner in Sauk City to the north and west of Madison. Right now, 23 in Camp Douglas, 23 in Janesville. So beautiful temperatures for this time of year. Average highs are right around 28, so we're actually pretty close to normal. We're going to start off fairly close to normal. It'll be right around 10 or so here in Madison. We'll climb into the lower 20s tomorrow, so a touch colder on Tuesday, but that's nothing compared to the cold weather that we had, in my opinion. 5 to 10 for a low temperature tonight. High temperatures, actual air temperatures right around 20 to 25 degrees on Tuesday. But when I come back in a little bit, we're going to talk more about those temperatures. We have 30s in the forecast, and what about some snow? I have those answers in a little while.
All right, Alex, thank you. The Mount Horeb Police Department is investigating inappropriate communications alleged between a coach and juvenile students. A release from police say they found out about the communications on Friday, January 30th. Police say it is too early to provide any details about the context and depth of the reported communication, but confirmed the school district is being cooperative. Police also say preventive measures have been put in place to ensure the coach is not on or around school property.
This morning, we received a tip from a viewer about a string of car break-ins in the village of Cambridge.
That's right. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks followed up on that tip and brings us the very latest now from law enforcement. Jalen?
Eric and Susan, the Dane County Sheriff's Office confirmed with me that there were a string of incidents in Cambridge in the overnight hours. In a release, the Sheriff's Office says they are investigating multiple vehicle break-ins, thefts, property damage, and 2 residential thefts in several towns and villages in eastern Dane County. The Sheriff's Office said the incidents may also be linked to a string of break-ins in Jefferson County. Jefferson County confirmed the connection in a press release of their own, saying a car was stolen in Jefferson County and was recovered by the Madison Police Department. They also said they received at least 40 complaints across the county pertaining to car break-ins, and at least 2 people were entering locked and unlocked vehicles throughout the county, and at least 1 residence was broken into as well. Now, we'll continue to follow the string of car incidents in Cambridge, as well as the home break-ins and their connection to Jefferson County, as well as how many cars were involved. We'll keep you updated both online and on air.
Jalen, thank you. The Wisconsin Department of Justice is helping local law enforcement investigate a deadly crash in Beloit over the weekend. Officers responded to the intersection of Cranston Road and Prairie Avenue at about 2:30 in the morning Sunday. A car was heading east on Cranston when it hit another car traveling north on Prairie Avenue. Both drivers died at the scene. One of the passengers was taken to the hospital. Police have not provided more information about why DOJ is helping investigate the crash yet.
Well, a woman is in critical condition after being found on a frozen lake. This happened Sunday morning in the town of Sumner. The Fort Atkinson Fire Department says a crew responded to Lake Koshkonong near North Shore Road. This was about 11:20 in the morning. They found a snowmobile and a woman in her 40s about 500 yards offshore on the lake. The fire department says crews requested med flight because of the extent of the woman's injuries. The Department of Natural Resources is now investigating that incident.
Democrats in the state legislature routinely introduce a bill to legalize cannabis in the state that never makes it to the governor's desk. But lawmakers say if the bill's not passed this time around, it could hurt businesses. In 2018, Congress legalized the cultivation of industrial hemp, and in doing so, they opened a loophole allowing the sale of certain THC products. Democrats say since then, the state's THC industry took off, now employing 3,500 people and contributing $700 million to the economy. But upon reopening the federal government following the fall shutdown, Congress closed that loophole. And now businesses are looking at a ban on their hemp-derived THC products this November.
Legalizing cannabis gives these same Wisconsin businesses a lifeline, allowing them to transition from hemp-derived THC to cannabis-derived THC and keep jobs, investments, and innovation right here in our home state.
The bill will likely face an uphill battle as Republicans in the state legislature sought to close the same loophole before the fall government shutdown and subsequent bill to reopen it.
Wisconsin State Senator representing Whitewater will not seek re-election this year. Earlier today, Steve Nass announced he will leave the legislature where he has served since back in 1990. A statement on his departure from Senator Nass reads in part, quote, It has been one of the greatest honors of my life to serve in the Wisconsin State Legislature, representing the people of southern Wisconsin.
A bipartisan bill moving through the state capitol aims to protect you from surprise ambulance bills.
Our political reporter Ellie LaLiberte joins us now. And Ellie, what would this mean for service providers?
Well, this legislation looks to expand the federal No Surprise Act, which increased protections for consumers related to surprise billing, but that left out ambulances. But Eric, this bill also changes how providers would be paid.
You call 911 and you don't get to shop right for the ambulance that responds to your house.
It's a challenge Patrick Anderson, the chief of Fitrona EMS, knows all too well.
We get lots of people, we get lots of insurance providers that say, well, you're out of network, so we're not going to pay as much. Well, most ambulance services are municipal. We don't belong in anybody's network, right?
That out-of-network problem can lead to high bills for patients.
It's $1,800 to $2,000 to just put you in there and drive you to the hospital.
But this legislation looks to protect patients from surprise bills and change how service providers are compensated. It would limit the amount a patient is charged in their deductible or copay and require that in areas without an established reimbursement rate for EMS services, the rate will be 350% of the federal Medicare rate. According to testimony from the bill's author, the legislation would, quote, ensure our ambulance providers are getting paid for the cost of the services and care they are providing. But Anderson worries that it still might not be enough.
What doesn't get paid for in run revenue gets paid for by taxpayers.
The Wisconsin Association of Health Plans voicing support for protecting patients, but writing, quote, the bill sets an arbitrary and often above market rate for emergency ambulance services, which would inflate healthcare costs for patients and consumers.
I think we could make this work, but we got to find that middle road.
Now, both the Senate and Assembly versions of this legislation have been heard in committee. However, the bill faces a deadline as lawmakers are set to break for the session by March.
All right, Ellie, thank you. It's still ahead at 5. An embattled beagle breeder faces yet another legal challenge.
What animal activists say they want a judge to do in the case of Ridgeland Farms and how the breeder is responding.
And we're finally out of the polar plunge, but could we see more bitter cold soon? Alex joins us with a full story in your First Warn forecast.
And later we'll preview a News 3 Now special report airing tonight at 10 on the alarming rise in sextortion cases in Wisconsin.
It was a big Monday on Wall Street. The Dow surging some 515 points. The NASDAQ jumps 130. S&P adds 37. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
Well, here we go.
Whoa, there's Jimmy.
Yes, he's watching us. Sun Prairie's most famous weather forecaster giving people hope that warmer temperatures will be here sooner rather than later.
Earlier this morning, people gathered in Cannery Square for the 78th annual Groundhog Day prognostication. Jimmy the Groundhog predicted an early spring. According to the National Weather Service, Jimmy has a 65% accuracy rating when it comes to his predictions.
And they kept him at a distance. The mayors in Sun Prairie have learned. And
yes, they have.
That was 2015, by the way, that he took a nip out of the ear of the Sun Prairie mayor. Alex is here now with, what do you think? Will Jimmy be right this year?
Yeah, swing the camera over here. I'm going to hand the clicker over to Jimmy, at least for the next 10 days here, because look at the forecast behind me here. Normal highs right around 28 degrees, the average high. All of our temperatures, the vast majority of them are going to be well above average. So, Jimmy, well, at least you're right for the next 10 days, but we got a few weeks to go before true spring knocks on our door here, at least from an astronomical and meteorological standpoint. How about the meteorology for tonight? We'll do lows between 5 and 10. That's closing in on normal for this time of year. A few more clouds, though, towards the Wisconsin-Illinois border. We see that with future track. That's going to hold up those temperatures right around to 13 or so. Can't rule out a flurry or two as well. But notice when we can see all the way down to the ground with the green, that means the blue skies are going to return as we head into Tuesday. We're expecting sunny skies, temperatures returning back into the low to mid 20s. Average high up towards the top of the screen there. Look at that, 28. We've been showing 27, 27, 27 as an average high for days and days. So now we're up 1 degree here as we inch our degrees closer to spring-like temperatures. Current temperatures right now, we got 24, common number across all of southern Wisconsin, a sprinkling of 25s out there as well. Here in Dane County, we range from 24 from Madison and the airport and areas to the east, And it's the division to the 25s to the west of Madison out towards Cross Plains. Planning our night tonight, clear to partly cloudy skies in Madison, more clouds towards the Wisconsin-Illinois border. We wake up to low temperatures right around 10, and then we climb up to 20-ish tomorrow. So just a touch cooler tomorrow than what we saw today. But let's talk a little bit about the history. Follow the yellow line here, not the yellow brick road, the yellow line here. What's in the blue, that's below normal. Look at where it bottomed out. -4 for high temperature on January 23rd. That is well below average. That's in that deep, dark blue area. And it was a rather dark time, so to speak, with it being right in the grip of that polar plunge. And then we finally have worked that yellow line up into the closer to normal, if not right around average range. As we head out towards the end of the week, we're going to get those Jimmy the Groundhog temperatures into the 30s a little bit later. Had a little light snow last night going into this morning for some areas. No big storms of significance are in our future. Just the temperatures, that's the main story here, in the 20s to the lower 30s. Those temperatures will end up being in the mid-30s next week. The only weather system is way out there of significance out towards the 9th and the 10th day in the forecast. That's way out there. A lot could change yet. So pretty picture here to complement the next 10 days. Just a slight chance for a rain or snow shower as we head towards Thursday night going into Friday, as our temperatures cool down a touch as we head towards the upcoming weekend. But overall, staying seasonal, meaning staying normal, staying average for this time of year with alert day conditions. None in the forecast. No bitter cold days, and hopefully we can keep it that way. So Jimmy, like I said, you're right for right now, but we'll see where the rest of winter takes us. And how about this for a picture caught on Friday on 1:30, January 30th. This is in Spring Green. Thanks, Ken, for sending us this photo here. Looks like there's a rainbow embedded in this thin area of clouds, and what we're seeing is the scattering of ice crystals, and that makes it those pretty rainbow-like colors. And if you want to send us your photo, scan that QR code in the upper left. I know you can see it. Get your phone or device out, scan it right now, send us your weather photos, and then we can show those photos, just like Ken's photo from Spring Green here on air. If you have the First One weather app, getting a little ahead of ourselves. It's not going to be 85 anytime soon, at least very, very unlikely. But that submit button is your portal to the First One weather team's photo gallery on channel3000.com. That's another easy way to show those weather photos. So a nice week ahead. Temperatures over the next 10 days are looking mighty fine. When you join me tonight at 6, we'll talk a little bit more about those light snow chances a little bit later in the week, and if we can get any accumulation out of that snow that's coming up at 6.
All right, Alex, thank you. Now to continuing coverage of an embattled beagle breeder here in Dane County. Animal rights activists are asking a judge to release the dogs from Ridgeland Farms. Now, the new lawsuit cites habeas corpus, which forces law enforcement to justify holding a person. A statement from one of the filers reads, quote, "Wisconsin law gives these beagles a right to be free from cruelty. Now it is time for the courts to recognize that the right is meaningful and not just words on paper." Now, it was October of last year, Ridgeland Farms agreed to close part of its breeding facility and sell off some of its dogs by July 1st of this year. The move part of a deal between Ridgeland and a special prosecutor to avoid potential felony charges. The new suit says that agreement does not protect the dogs between now and July, nor does it protect dogs that remain in Ridgeland's possession after that deadline. In a statement to News 3 Now, Ridgeland Farms said if this case is successful, the use of animals for food, research, hunting, fishing, and more activities will be at risk.
Tonight at 10, Wisconsin is experiencing a sharp rise in sextortion crimes targeting children. The State Department of Justice reports more than 650 sextortion-related cyber tips last year. That's nearly triple the 230 reports from 2024. Special Agent in Charge Jesse Crowe says boys ages 13 to 17 are the primary targets. Unlike other online crimes, he says these schemes focus on money, and in some cases, the consequences can turn deadly in just hours.
Most suicides in these types of cases occur within 8 hours. And so it's very important to get them resources to know that they are victims of crimes, to know that there is help out there.
Governor Evers signed Braden's law in December, making sextortion a felony. News 3 Now's Kyrion Lee shares what parents need to know to prevent and take action against sextortion. That's tonight after FBI on News 3 Now at 10.
And still ahead at 5, the House will vote to reopen the federal government after failing to meet Friday's funding deadline. What is standing in the way now of ending the shutdown? We'll tell you next.
Your watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
We have new information tonight about an incident on Fish Lake over the weekend. The Dane County Medical Examiner is identifying the man who died on the lake as 59-year-old Ernest B. Rugseger. The sheriff's office responded to the lake at about 2:15 Saturday. They found the 59-year-old dead at the scene. A preliminary forensic exam confirmed he drowned, but more testing is underway.
In national news now, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he is confident the partial government shutdown will be over soon. A House committee is considering a deal the Senate passed Friday. That agreement provides just 2 weeks of funding for the Department of Homeland Security while lawmakers negotiate reforms to ICE. Comes after the 2 deadly shootings in Minneapolis last month. But some Democrats say it is not enough for them to sign on.
I'm not just a no, I'm a firm no, and I'm going to advocate with colleagues that they vote no.
Now, the House vote on whether to temporarily fund DHS, that'll take place tomorrow.
And on the ground in Minnesota, the 5-year-old boy taken with his dad to a Texas detention facility is back home. A judge ordered Liam Ramos and his father be released over the weekend. The Trump administration plans to appeal that decision, claiming that Liam's father entered the U.S. illegally. The family's lawyers say he has a pending asylum claim. And we're also learning the DHS is issuing a body-worn camera for every officer in the city.
And stay with us. We're back with a final check of your first warn forecast. Tonight at 6, continuing coverage of the case of measles found in Dane County. What parents of UW-Madison students should know about this potential exposure and the locations on campus. That's in 30 minutes. Join us for News 3 Now at 6.
Happening now, the first round of voting for this year's Madison Magazine's Best of Madison is underway through the entire month of February. You can nominate any local person, place, or thing, a lot of restaurants. A wide variety of categories. You can vote once a day in each category with a valid email address.
And Alex, if you can warm things up enough, I'll use all 31 of my emails to vote for you.
Look at the forecast that we got here.
Like
so maybe I get at least, I don't know, 7 or 8 of those.
5 or 6 of my emails.
Okay. Sounds good. Temperatures well into the 30s by the end of the week. 30s next week. Coming up at 6, though, a little bit of rain, snow mix Thursday night and Friday. I'll show you what that looks like at 6.
Wow, 30s. It's going to feel like 70. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for watching at 5, everybody.
We'll be back at 6. Have a good one.